StarBoyz.
What's up, CFO gang? It's your boy Jay Tuck back with another Cowboys fans only episode. And I know what you're thinking. Tuck, where was you last week? I was chilling on Draft Island. I told y'all, man, I was on Draft Island. There wasn't much to talk about last week because I felt like this game versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, there was no absolute chance the Dallas Cowboys was going to be able to compete. But I was wrong. But before we dive into that, Cowboys fam, y'all know the drill. I need everyone out there to comment, like, subscribe, share. Somewhere down there. Also, go to cowboysfansonly.com and get your shirts and get your merch, man. I appreciate all the support. But like I said, man, the Dallas Cowboys had a good game on Sunday. Surprisingly good game. So I brought one of my favorite people, man, that like to discuss this Cowboys content with, man. My guy, Zach, from the StarBoyz podcast. Zach, what's going on, man? Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, man? Hey, J Tuck, thanks for having me, man. What's up,
Man,
Cowboys Nation?
what's going on, man? You already know, man. I was on his podcast. What game was that before? What game did we do? I
I don't
feel like
even
we were
remember,
very
man. I'm not gonna. It
optimistic
was
back
a.
then. We were very optimistic, whatever game that was, man. But yeah, a lot has changed, man. But before we dive into Sunday's matchup, Zach, go ahead and tell everyone where they can find you at, man.
Man, you guys can find me. Make sure you check out. You can go through either Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Make sure to look up our podcast. I'm also on YouTube now as well, and that's the StarBoy Show. So make sure you guys check that out for sure.
Yeah, definitely check my guy out, man. He's great guy, man. He be cracking me up, man. We had a blast on the podcast, man. So we're gonna run it back tonight. So as we spoke about, man, this past Sunday versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Dallas Cowboys had a close loss, 24-19, man. And it was a good game, man. And to be honest with you, I did not see it coming. Zach, did you see it happening, man?
I didn't, man. I didn't. I was shocked when that went down. I was like, I'm watching. I'm sitting back. I'm tweeting. I'm like, whoa, what's
What's
happening,
going
man?
on?
This is crazy.
Right. It was one of those games, man. I was like, you know what? It is what it is. Like I wasn't excited for it. I didn't do a pregame content. None of that, man. I just tossed my jersey on, sat back, and like, let's just get this over with. And I started to poke up in my chair a little bit, like, okay, we're up, and we're actually getting stops on the defensive side of the ball, man. So it was completely unexpected. And I want to talk about this, Cowboys fan. And we'll get into this a little bit later, but I'm not a fan of not fighting, the whole tanking mentality, man. So I am very excited to see the Dallas Cowboys do have a lot of fight in them. Zach, I'm sure you agree with me, man.
Oh,
And I feel like you guys know, if you watch this show, I've been very hard on Mike McCarthy. I would have to say hats off to Mike McCarthy, man, because I feel like he has won this locker room back, man. We're starting to see a lot more push, a lot more effort. And this team is actually starting to take some pride in being a Dallas Cowboys football player, man. But when you think about this past Sunday's matchup, Zach, what stood out to you in your mind?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, we got to start with Garrett Gilbert,
Right.
right? Like, who is this guy?
Right.
Where did he come from? I mean, he put a little spark in our offense, man. I mean, I think I've seen people tweet, "Oh, we got a touchdown. What is this?"
Right. Yeah. That's how it was. It was like a touchdown. CeeDee Lamb. Like I got to see CeeDee Lamb do the first down point. I'm like, okay, I remember that, man. It was like, it felt like we were a football team again, man. And when we got in the end zone, yeah, I would agree, man. I think Gilbert actually stood out, which we'll probably talk about here in a second. But yeah, I didn't see it coming.
Yeah, it was crazy. And, the defense too, man. The defense stepped up. I mean, we could go down the line. I mean, talking about players like Gallimore finally, he's showing up, actually looking really good, man. There was a lot to be excited about. And and then the wheels fell off, like
yeah,
they have been.
Yeah, like I said on Twitter, man, I felt like the Dallas Cowboys, if you ever been in a bad relationship, they're like that person who cheats on you, man, and they want to bring things back together, man. So you go out to a nice little dinner, they're dressed up, they're smelling all good, they're telling you the right things, and as soon as you get close into trusting them, you take a glance at their phone, game over. Oh, so we're back to doing it. And that's how it was, man. It's like I was watching this game, it's like, oh man, the Dallas Cowboys aren't going to win this game. And then we get to halftime, I'm like, okay. Third quarter goes by. Whoa, wait, we might can actually win this game, man. And as soon as I started to get some confidence, boom, there goes Garrett with the interception. Like, all right, here we go, man. But like I said, I feel like this team has played a lot better for what we've seen in the past. There's been a lot of fight. Now, I know a lot of people were kind of, bagging me after the Eagles game, like, Tuck, there's no such thing as a moral victory. I felt like that Eagles game was a great moral victory, and I felt like our confidence rolled in from that game versus our rival into the Steelers game. Because you got to understand, guys, our morality was at an all-time low. Like, we didn't know if Mike McCarthy has lost his locker room. We were called weak and soft for not fighting for Andy Dalton. So we were at an all-time low. And so that little bit of fight that we had versus the Philadelphia Eagles, it kind of sparked something within this team, which you did see ultimately carry over to Sunday versus the Steelers, man. So let me ask you this, Zach. How are you feeling about, this team as they stand right now?
It's hard because you want to be excited, and for the most part I am. Just from what I saw, I'm excited that we still had that fight. And then you start hearing things like, the injury plague season, man. Here we go again. Diggs is out. He's most likely out. They're saying 4 to 6 weeks, most likely the rest of the season is what it sounded like. So,
right.
when we get a Woozier back, and that is exciting. So that helps. But when you start thinking about it, man, you're like, God, like that was if Savion Smith didn't come in towards in that fourth quarter, I don't know that we lose that game.
Right.
Honestly, I mean, I don't want to. I hate to to make things up or say, oh well, this could or could not happen. I hate playing the if game.
Right.
But just the way that he was playing all game long, man, and especially the game he had against the Eagles coming into this, arguably our best corner. So
right.
Now we're in another situation where it's hard to watch, man. But I am excited. I'm excited. I think there were some things I questioned
right
from the coaching staff. I know for the most
well, let's dive into that. So what were some of the things you did question? Because I know a lot of people have been going back and forth. I want to see what side of the table you're on, because I feel like I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, I feel like we started kind of getting the ground game going, man. I felt like we were starting to kind of catch a groove in that, and right towards the end where you put us in a situation where you're giving Garrett Gilbert the ball, and he had a good game, but
right.
I'm trusting that ground game. If it's going, like, why not? You know what I mean? Why not keep it steady?
Right.
It was looking good.
Right. Yeah. I'm right there with you, man. I felt like that was Zeke time. That's Tony Pollard time. So why would you really put it into this unknown hands? I mean, because like I said, Gilbert did play well. But at that moment of the game, man, you have to go with your guys that you know. And I would have gave the ball to Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. But I feel like for some reason, man, Mike McCarthy just doesn't want to fully commit to the run game. It's like he gets us a little bit here and there. But I'm just like, I want to see a game where, like, it's 25 carries for Ezekiel Elliott. Can I get one of those type of Cleveland Brown type ball games? But I feel like right now it's like we start off for a little bit, man. But it's just like I want more from Zeke and I want more from Tony Pollard, because we've seen what Tony Pollard was able to come in and spell for Ezekiel Elliott. He did have those get plays. That's what Tony Pollard does. And so it's just like we can't commit. But I agree, man. Once we got into the red zone, the game kind of tightened up. That was Zeke's time. That's where he earned his money. That's where it's really the Zeke show, man. But for some reason, Mike McCarthy didn't stick to the run game. So let me ask you this, because this has been a huge topic of discussion on Twitter, man. 4th and 1, do you go for it or do you take the field goal?
At our own. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the one where we had our own 30.
No, not the 30. Not the own 30. So I think we were on like the 40, 30, something like 35, 40, something like that.
I understand why. I mean, they're just trying to. I mean, especially Greg DeLegge was doing good all game long. So, but to me, you go for. What do you have to lose? You know what I mean? You're a 2-6 team going against an undefeated team. What do you have to lose? Go for it. And maybe change the outcome of this game. I mean, who knows? I mean, if nothing else, you get closer and you give your kicker a better opportunity to kick an easier field goal. So I don't know, man. I'm on team, like, what do we have left? Like where we're at right now. Go ahead, unless you feel like we're tanking. I don't feel like anybody honestly feels that way. If you're a coach, you're not going to come out and say, "Hey,
we're tanking.
We're going to go ahead and tank." Yeah, no. So they're fighting, but I don't understand that call, man. What do you think about that? Because
I was one of the people that was okay with the call, and the reason why is, like, you want to go up 2 scores because our defense at that time has been playing well. So you have confidence in our defense. They've been playing a lot better. Now, granted, we knew that Big Ben in this offense was going to strike back, but everybody want to say this, man. It wasn't really that play that cost us the game, man. It was these stupid boneheaded penalties that was, put us in bad positions. Because I felt like even if Jalen Smith didn't swipe Ben Roethlisberger's helmet, face mask, barely, we get off the field, we get the ball back. You also got to think about the call on the strip fumble. Like, a lot of these plays killed our momentum. So I don't want to just focus on the 4th and 1 call, because you also got to think about it. At that time, is like, all right, we go for it. Right now, the Steelers were kind of dead in the water. They really couldn't find their feet in as far as the game is going. You didn't want to give them one field position and then also any momentum. So I feel like Mike McCarthy, kind of had a flashback to the Rams game and say, okay, we might have a chance to actually win this game. Let's just take the field goal. So I'm perfectly okay with it. I know a lot of people are saying, what do we have to lose? But sometimes you just got to be smart, man. Like, things are working in your favor. And I think that's the kind of the dice that Mike McCarthy rolled, man. So let's hop in the chat, man. I see the chat is popping, man. Appreciate everyone for the support, man. Shouts out to my guy Tyler Edwards, Tuck the GOAT, man. I'm not the GOAT, man. You know, I try to do my thing. What's up, my guy Brian? What's up, CFO fam? Appreciate you, bro. Jim Swartz, big Eagles guy. Eagles, yeah. We're going to talk, man, because we got a lot to talk about for the Eagles, man, coming soon. Shouts out to Moving the Chains, man. Great supporter, man. She's actually a great writer. So, guys, check out her content, man. She's always just on Twitter, man, writing great Cowboys content. She said, Philly Notion, since his regrets, he's going to watch this later tonight. He'll be on Hubs after this verbally abusing from some delusional Giants fans. Yeah, I think my guy Philly Notion is streaming right now, so we always catch you show after. Shouts out to my guy Philly Notion, man. And Tyler says, we want Nucci. No, we don't, man. The Ben DiNucci thing, y'all, it sounded cool. It's like a great idea, man. We had this Nucci shirts with the Gucci. Like, it sounded really great in our mind, man. And I say this, Garrett Gilbert is what we thought Ben DiNucci was going to be. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, shouts out to Gilbert, man. But in the day, man, go back to the Eagles game. I know we're kind of backtracking, but I didn't feel like Nucci played that bad. I expected a lot worse, to be honest with you. I mean, he didn't make the proper throws. He was out there just winging it, but I felt like he tightened up because he didn't want to cost us the game. So I thought it was going to be a lot worse than what he's actually shown. But we probably never see this kid again.
Right. We're also, I mean, he's a rookie. He's throwing 40-something times. You know what I mean? Like, you got to, come on, man. He's a rookie. You got to, like, lean on that running back a little bit. Lean on Zeke. That's what you pay the man for.
Right.
Lean on him. So,
lean on Zeke, man.
He had a rookie game, man. Yeah. But, Garrett Gilbert, I think he took his job, bro.
Yeah, he did. He did, man. Like I said, the funniest part about the Nucci game against the Eagles, man, is when he ran and did that sidearm throw, and Amari Cooper was like 15 yards out of bounds. He looked at him like, what the hell, man? Like, Amari Cooper was ready to get out of that game like, this is trash, bro. I can't do this, man. But, yeah, he kind of sidearmed it and thought he was doing a little Pat Mahomes action. Shouts out to Nucci, man, but he'll probably never play in an NFL game again. Let's see here.
General Pat Mahomes right there.
Yeah, said Wentz is total garbage. So the Eagles and Cowboys fans going ham in the chat like usual. Shouts out to my guy Jared, man. Jared Allen, man. J Tuck was good. Fam, salute, man. Appreciate your support, man. Let's see. Yeah, Eagles fans and Cowboys fans going at it. Yeah, man. So let's go ahead and dive into some of the hot topics, things that have been going on this week, man. So we already mentioned this, man. Diggs is possibly out probably for the rest of the season, man. How big of a blow is that to this Dallas Cowboys defense?
That's huge, man. It's huge. I mean, like we said, we got Awuzie coming back, so that's definitely going to help, man. Cheeto's a big upgrade from what we had. I mean, it's not like we're rolling Worley back out on the field.
Right.
Thank God we moved on from that. But man, I mean, we can argue that this has been the best DB that we've had on our team, and I'm not even talking about this year.
Right.
I'm talking about when is the last cornerback that we've had get 2 interceptions in one game, and I'm of course going back to the Eagles game last week, but I can't think of one. Not recently. So I mean. This man, ultra talented. Everybody's seen it. I mean, there has been some rookie mistakes, but it's understandable, man. He's a rookie, and I'm willing to give him that window, that pass. But he's constant. It just seems like he's always up in his game. And one thing I love about his game is he always comes back and fights.
Right.
It doesn't matter. He gets beat deep. The man is going to come back and make a play, man. And that's what I love about him. So I think we're okay with Cheeto back and Brown, but it's not going to be what it was, man. And especially to take Cheeto to get time to adjust back into the game.
Right.
I don't know really what we're going to expect to see from him. He's still in a contract here, though, too. So.
Yeah, Cheeto's coming to eat, man. But I said, for me, man, the sad part about everything going on is, like, as soon as we kind of get some momentum, like, okay, Diggs is playing well, we get Anthony Brown back healthy, we're going to get Cheeto back, and then it's like, nope, no, you're not. It's like, it's like a Infinity Stone, we got to sacrifice one to get the others. Like, we just never can build. Even on the offensive line, like, as soon as we get, Joe Looney back healthy, there goes Tyler Biadasz, she's out. It's just like, I want all the guys to play, bro. Like, I don't want to sacrifice these guys and, like, one gets healthy and we lose 2 more. So, I feel like it's going to...
I tweeted about this yesterday, actually. So, before I even found out about Diggs, at this point in time, it was just 20 guys that we had injured throughout our season.
Right.
And that's 38% roughly of a 53 man roster. So,
Right.
I mean, it's crazy. We're going through, and then now, right here with Diggs. So we're going through. This has been a terrible 2020, man.
It's been
I'm
bad,
done.
man.
I'm done
It's
with
been it's been.
2020.
So let me.
The only good thing might come out of 2020 is we get a decent draft pick. That's
Right,
it.
that's it, man.
That's
That's
it.
all we can really hold our head for. And I told a lot of people this on Twitter today, man. I wouldn't even hold my head on that, man, because I doubt that's going to happen. Because knowing the Dallas Cowboys, like I know the Dallas Cowboys, right now we're currently at the 3rd draft pick. We'll beat a few teams just out of no reason. We'll mess around and beat the Ravens just for the hell of it, and just move into like the 6th or 7th pick or 8th pick, man, and completely blow this season up, man. It's just in our nature to do it, man. But yeah, man, it's just been one injury after another. And like, let me ask you this, because I really haven't spoken to anyone about this. Do you think it's because of the shortened off season? Do you think it's just bad luck for this season? Like, what do you think it really is?
Honestly, I think it's a little bit of both, man. I think it's a little bit of both. When you start thinking about it, obviously the shortened offseason these guys had, uh, most of them probably honestly not coming in complete football shape.
Right.
Um, Lyle Collins, I don't want to
Right.
throw him
Yeah.
under the bus there.
Yeah.
That's the rumor. That's the rumor mill. I don't
Yeah.
know. But it's a little bit of that, and I mean, it's league wide, man. I
Right.
mean, you know what I mean? It's this entire year for every team. I mean, I know it's dismantled our team, but
Right.
there's so many star players out
Right.
this year
Right.
that I mean, you go back to the beginning of the season and you almost forget like
Right.
everybody that's
Saquon
out. It's hard to count
was
all the
Saquon like
names,
week
bro.
one? Did Saquon like go out like week one? It's like
Yeah,
and I feel like the only
Von
thing that's
Miller.
right, yeah, Von Miller is just like Bosa, like but I feel like
Yeah,
we're like the only ones besides, Washington on Sunday that just lost their quarterback. Like everyone still has their quarterback, but us, man, and that's a huge difference maker. So, like I said, losing Diggs is going to be big, man, just for his momentum and his confidence, man, because he was starting to figure it out, and so he really got to reset. Soon as Tristan Hill was starting to figure things out, now you got to reset, man. So we'll definitely see how things work out, man. But at least that we're getting some type of veteran leadership back there versus having to go to like a Dare Worley or something like that, man. Um, so yeah, let me go to the chat, man, cause I see the chat's popping. What's up to my guy Sid, man? Sid's in the building. Let's see here. Shout out to my guy Mike Tag, man, the hype man Mike Tag. I'm gonna start. His name's gonna no longer be Mike
and you
Tag,
dig
man.
it.
It's gonna be Mike Bag, man, cause he had a bag over his head, man. I was like, Mike, you're supposed to be the positive one, man. My guy had a bag over his head, but it is what it is, man. It's been rough. Infamous 2K, what's up, bro? Yeah, the chat is popping, man. So keep the questions coming. We're definitely gonna hit those questions up, man. So let me ask you this question, man, because it's kind of been the thing that's looming Cowboys fans right now. Should we get concerned about Ezekiel Elliott?
Oh, man, you know what? I did a video on this last week, man. And I understand there is reason for concern. I mean, he's not being productive. So a lot of the argument has been, and from what I've heard from Twitter Nation, Cowboys Nation, has been, hey, let's shift it over to Tony Pollard, man. He's breaking off these big runs. He's killing it, man. Just let him have it. And so, I mean, and don't get me wrong, there's been times where I'll sit back and I'm watching the game and I'm
Right.
like, wow.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Is Pollard really better than Zeke? You know what I mean? It's crazy, but it's the consistency. So I think what we all expect from Zeke is we all expect 2016 Zeke. Okay,
Right.
let's be honest. We want to see the big runs, the big exciting plays, but if we really look at his career with us, I mean, he has always been just kind of a ground and pound type running back. He's
Right.
picking up, anywhere 4 to 6 at a time, and he's wearing down that defense. That's just kind of his game. It's
Right.
always been his game. And I haven't seen him. Honestly, at the beginning of this year, I thought he looked a little bit lighter. He looked a little bit shiftier. So I expected to see more from him this season. But like I said last week, going into this, as far as the yards per carry are concerned, the consistency with Pollard is, yeah, he'll break off a big run,
Right.
then he'll come back and he'll take like a yard or two loss. So as of last week, it was 3.9 yards per carry for both of them, for Zeke and Pollard.
Right.
Pollard, from this game, he jumped up to 4.4 yards per carry. So, and Zeke dropped down 3.8. So obviously, I mean, there's a lot to be excited about Pollard, but I'm not concerned yet, man. We're talking about a back who's a 1,300-yard back behind arguably probably one of the worst offensive lines we've ever had in our history. I mean, if we're being honest. And So I'm not concerned. Now, if this continues, once we start getting our healthy O line back next year, then to me it starts to become a much bigger problem. And then we need to start talking.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like right now, guys, with Zeke, it's more of a mental aspect. Like it happens to every athlete. If anybody in this chat or on this show has played sports before, when things aren't going right, man, you start to overcompensate. I mean, if you're a basketball player and you play 4 or 5 games and you're just not hitting a shot, man, you start changing your shot, you start kicking your leg, you start doing all sorts of weird things. And I feel like those early fumbles have really played into Zeke's head. And I feel like he's overcompensating. You can see it, like he'll bust through the hole, but he's like covering up. Like if you're playing Madden, he's hitting the R2 button like way too early. Like just keep running. And so I feel like it's a mental thing when it comes with Ezekiel Elliott right now, but he has to be able to get out of that. And I feel like the same thing that DeMarcus Lawrence went through. It's just in your head. Because DeMarcus Lawrence, he went on that huge slump by having no sacks, but he was like overcompensating. Like he was always like a half a second too short or just too late. So I feel like once Zeke finally just has that breakout game, I think all that stuff will start to fade in his mind. We just haven't seen that game. Now, I've been a huge proponent on this show of dual running back formations, like use Tony Pollard in more passing in situations, use Ezekiel Elliott. Like that's what they're good at. And you go back to the days of, like Marion Barber and Felix Jones. It's like you get hit in the mouth and then we dash on you. Get hit in the mouth, get hit, like it wears teams down. Yeah, and I thought when we lost Dak, that's what we were really going into. Like that's kind of going to be our bread and butter. But for some reason, it just hasn't been with the run game. And also, I will say this: I feel like Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy need to get more creative when it comes to the run game. Like our run game is very vanilla. It's just like, dive right, dive left, sweep, sweep, sweep. Here comes CeeDee Lamb on reverse, and that's all we got for you guys. Like, can we get some counter action? Can we get some motion or something like that? But it's just very vanilla. So hopefully, Zeke can find his rhythm. Because I tell people this, man: if Zeke can find his rhythm, then this can change the dynamic of this Dallas Cowboys team, man, especially, with these late few games coming in at the end of the season.
I agree so much, man. I mean, and you think like these players, they hear outside noise.
Right.
And it does get in their heads. It affects you in some type of way. I mean, they can say they block it out, they tune it out, but they hear, they know what's going on, man. They're out there in the world. They see what's happening. But I think that has gotten into him a little bit. And I think also he thinks he's got to carry the weight of this team.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He thinks it's on him now. Dak is gone. It's my time. I have to step up and carry this team like I used to.
Right.
That's not really the case right now, man. And again, it's hard behind this offensive line. And as you mentioned, the vanilla style offense that we got, I mean, as far as running the ball, I mean, and it's been called out. It's been called out with Troy and everybody else.
Right.
They're leaning towards running right behind Zach Martin. And for good reason.
Yeah. Like that's pretty much the only option you got, though. Yeah.
Eventually, they're catching on to this stuff, though, right? I mean, you have to change it up a little bit, get a little bit more creative. Like you said, man, and that's a really good idea, man. And I preached that at the beginning of the year, and I kind of got away from it because we were passing so much. But I want to see more 2-back sets, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Shotgun, two backs, 2 on the side, Pollard, Zeke. Open it up. It could be pass, run. I mean, some options.
Like I said, Mike McCarthy, if you need my Madden playbook, just hit me, bro. Like I'll show you how to run it, man. But here's the thing: like Mike McCarthy was saying all off season that you're going to see a lot of 2-back sets with Zeke maybe as the up back and Tony Pollard in the backfield. And we saw it for I think it was the Atlanta game. We saw it for 2 snaps, the very first plays, 2 plays, and it just vanished. Like keep that out there, man, because it adds a new dynamic to our offense, man. And what do you really have to lose? So we'll see, man. So I'm gonna ask this question, man, because we spoke about this last night on my guy Sid show, and shouts out to Cowboys fan talk, man. Andy Dalton looks like he's going to be the starter moving forward, but does he deserve the job over Gilbert, or do you want to roll with Gilbert moving forward?
I want to go Gilbert going forward, man. I do. We only really got 5 quarters of Andy Dalton, so
right.
But he was also against he was against a pretty damn good Washington defensive line. I will say that. But, I don't know. I didn't see it. I didn't see the guys kind of standing behind him, man. And with Garrett Gilbert, I was shocked because it seemed like these guys wanted to fight for this man. They had a little extra. And I don't know if that's coaching or necessarily the quarterback, but it seems more consistent. The offense seemed more consistent. It seemed like they kind of they had their guys back, man. That's what it felt like all game. I hadn't seen this team fight like that since Dak went down.
Right.
So to me, you roll with what you got, man. You roll with your strength. It was the strength that showed good against a team who is now what 7-0, 8-0.
Right.
I mean, why not keep rolling with that? I don't believe in the okay, well, we'll just give it to Andy because we're paying him money
Yep.
and because he's this veteran quarterback. I would say roll with what you got, man. Whatever wherever the lightning is.
Yeah, I agree, man. Because I tell you, the thing that stuck out about Gilbert was the very first play of the game. Because I thought Zeke got rocked in the backfield for a loss. I'm like, oh, we did a read option? Well, what's going on with this? Like, okay. And so I'm like, well, maybe this guy has a different dynamic to his game. And so I felt like he is able to bring something that this team needs, because with our offensive line being as limited as we spoke about, man, you need someone who can get the hell up out of there. And there was a lot of times where he was able to use his legs and extend. Now, granted, he probably didn't make the greatest of throws every time, but he was able to maneuver and control this offense. And if our defense continues to play well, maybe he doesn't have to be a hero. Maybe he doesn't have to force throws and throw for 400 yards. Just manage the game properly, make the proper read, use your feet, use the running game, and let our defense not put us in bad situations. So I'm personally a fan, man, of running with Gilbert, because we know how Jerry's going to do, man. You know, if I'm paying for it, I'm going to use it. So it looks like Andy Dalton will be the starter moving forward, against the Vikings. So we shall see. But I'm a Gilbert guy. I think Sid last night, let me know, I think Sid was a Gilbert guy. Cowboys fan talk was about Andy Dalton because, his history in his past and, all that stuff. But sometimes, man, what have you done for me lately? Like,
yeah, Andy Dalton was also part of a 2-14 team.
Right.
They got the first pick in the draft.
Exactly.
Year, so.
Exactly. And Cincinnati is taking off as soon as they replace him, like just that quick. So maybe you're just not that good anymore. So I would personally roll with Gilbert, man, or at least make it a competition. Let's say, hey, we're gonna go through practice to the bye week and we'll evaluate then. But Cowboys, nope, Andy Dalton's our starter. So here it is, man.
Like you're saying, it's the legs for me too, man.
Right.
I mean, 3 rushes for 28 yards.
Right.
I mean, and he got some good looks. So you almost have to have some legs behind this freaking offensive line.
Right, because it'll allow you to use a lot of creativity.
Andy doesn't have that.
Right, he's not. Andy's a sitting duck, man. So if they get through Terrence still, which they will, best of luck, man. So like I said, I would just go with Gilbert and see what you got, man. I don't think you pull this kid out. Especially because you want to evaluate, especially for next year, because he might be a good backup option for Dak Prescott for next season. So let's see what he got, man, because you're definitely not going to pay Andy Dalton again.
No.
But we'll see, man. So let's dive into this question, man. Do you think the Cowboys still have a chance to win the NFC East?
I mean, not if they're putting Andy Dalton out there.
That's exactly what I said. That's exactly what I said. I was so confident. I was like, okay, what I see from Gilbert and his defense and his team, okay, we still got a chance. And they said Andy Dalton's like, okay, let me out the car, bro. I'm out. Like,
and it feels like sometimes I'm like, I mean, it almost feels like our front office is like, hey, season's over. Let's go ahead and pull the plug. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I don't see why you would make that move. Don't get me wrong. They're coaches, they're professionals, they do the job. But at the same time, I know I'm not going to run Terrence Still out there every day.
Right.
It's kind of a game in, game out. But
it
is what it is, man. There's possibility for contention. I mean, we have – this is sad. It's so sad to think about. But when you think about the rest of our schedule – we have at least 3 winnable games within our division, right? So I think it's possible, but I mean, do we get into the playoffs at 6-10? I don't want to be, if that's the case, I don't want in the playoffs.
Right.
But it's possible. They may mess around and pull something off because, I mean, when you're talking about the Vikings, you're talking about, somebody like the Ravens or even San Francisco.
Right.
There's potential, you never know any given Sunday, right? But I don't see those as winnable games at all. So within our division, there are definitely winnable games because we're so terrible.
Yeah. And that's the thing, man. And, it's just like, I don't know. It's like, I feel like I know that right now we are capable of winning the NFC East or at least making it competitive. 2 weeks ago before the Philly game, hell no, man. Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like this team is starting to take a leap in the right direction. We are starting to get healthier. Granted, losing Diggs was a huge loss, man. But I feel like from what I've seen the past 2 weeks, I feel like now we can compete. Because like I said on the show 100 times, it's like, I sit back and watch the Cincinnati Bengals. I was like, oh, there's no chance in hell we can beat the Bengals. Like that's crazy to me as a Cowboys fan to sit back and watch the Cincinnati Bengals and think about, look at all those weapons they got. Like that's just way too much for us. But now I feel more confident that we can go and compete with Cincinnati and win those type of games that we're able to actually win. So it's going to take a lot, man. It's going to take a lot. But like I said, if you look at it just from an outside perspective, right? You look at the Eagles' schedule, it's not going to get any easier. And so you look at what just happened with Washington and losing Kyle Allen. It's like it's so many things going on with this division, man. We might be a 6-game division champion. 6 or 7 games will probably win this division, man. So it's really hard to get a grasp on it because it's not that far out of reality. It's like every time we were playing bad or you feel like the season's over, everyone else is playing just as bad, and that kind of gives you hope, man. So let me transition to this infamous question, Zach. Are you team fight or team tank, man? I know a lot of people are just draft pick, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, but a lot of people just want to see effort, and we fight, and then if we end up with the 7th or 8th pick or 9th pick, it is what it is.
Man, for me, I'm a fighter, man. I'm always gonna say fight. I mean, down in my heart.
Right.
Down in my heart, though, I want us to fight, but just my mind is telling me, let's get that draft pick. Like, what do we have left to? I mean, at this point in time, as soon as Dak went down, really,
right.
The whole time, I'm thinking is I just want to see week to week. I just want to see improvement from these guys. That's all I want to see. I want to see some improvement from our young players, from our coaching staff. Everybody kind of get together for them as a whole. And that's all I'm really concerned about. As far as I want us to fight because don't go out there and just give up. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to watch that. And that's going to be hard for me to believe in you as a coach or a player. Right. Because these players, if we're being honest, they're playing kind of like individual contractors right now. Right. I mean, it looked in this last game like a team effort finally. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, these guys have been, some of these guys coming up on contract years. Trying to play for themselves, man. They're trying to make money. Right. And that really hurts the team more than anything, So I'm actually outside of this. I'm a process operator at a chemical plant, man.
Okay.
So we have a brotherhood. It's like every man, I got your back. We have outside contractors come in constantly and they don't really care. They don't care what shape the plant is. When they leave it, they'll do a half-ass job and they'll be on the merry way because they're not gonna, we have to live there. So this is kind of what I'm seeing from some of these players. It's just like the contract thing, and it really tears apart the team. But as we saw last week, he's kind of started to get them together. They start to look like an actual team. I say fight, man. I say fight. Fight to the very bitter end. I don't want in the playoffs. I want a good draft pick, but I'm not the type to just give up on the season. It's just not me. It's not in me, man.
Right. And I feel like you said that about the independent contractors, and I think that shows clearly what it happened with Poe, Worley, and Everson Griffin. Like, those aren't Cowboys guys, man. So they came in just kind of lollygagging, just doing their own thing, and everyone's getting embarrassed. Everyone's feeling the wrath of that. Like, hey, man, like this is not Dallas Cowboys football, man. Like, you just getting pushed around and shoved in your back. And so I feel like once we were able to kind of trim the fat, that this team was able to rally, because everyone in the locker room, like, these are my guys. Okay, that's Crawford, like, that's my dog. Randy Gregory, that's my dog. So I got my dogs back. I got Sean Lee back there. So I felt like this team was able to really rally around each other. Granted, I've been calling them Garrett guys, but that is what it is right now. Like, you want to be out there with guys guys you trust, because we all been there, man. You got some brand new guy out there getting toasted every Sunday. Like, man, where the hell they get this guy from? Oakland, man. He's not one. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so people talk, and they're human, man. So I feel like this team was able to trim the fat. I'm not personally a tank guy either myself, man, because I don't want to watch that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not, just quitting. I felt like before the Philly game, we really had no choice. I feel like we were just bad that even if we wanted to fight, we were going to get stomped out anyway. So I feel like, it is what it is. But yeah, I feel like this team is going to compete. So if I had to tell you guys right now where I think the Cowboys will pick, I think the Dallas Cowboys will probably have a 9 or above in the draft. Cowboys fans, that's probably going to scare the hell out of you. But I feel like we are going to finally find some momentum with this team. If healthy, knock on any wood you can find in your house. But I feel like if we're able to stay a little bit healthy, man, we're going to get some momentum. I feel like we can beat Washington. I feel like we can beat the Vikings. I feel like we can beat the Eagles. I feel like we can beat, Cincinnati. So that's 4 of them things. And then you'll have the Giants again. So I feel like, probably around 5 to 6 wins, maybe 7, give or take. Now, here's the thing, y'all. if we do win the division and we go to the playoffs, I think the minimum we can draft is like 19 or something like that, 19 or 18. So if we do happen to sneak this division, well, you can kiss all those draft picks goodbye, man. But I'm just not a fan of, these high draft picks because it's hit or miss, man. You just never know. Like, and plus, for me personally, I don't want a top 2 pick because I don't want to spend all damn offseason wondering if Jerry Jones going to sign Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields and out Dak Prescott. Like, I don't want to have that narrative. I don't even want those thoughts to start getting in his mind. Now, granted, he came out and lied to us today and said, no, Dak's my guy. Like, yeah, you've been saying that for 5 years. But I do not want to go through that this offseason, man. So, personally, I don't want to have a top 2 pick, man. I say go out there and fight and then let everything happen, whatever happens, bro. So, that's where I'm at.
I'm on the opposition when it comes to that, though. So, I could easily see this team being a 5-11 team. Easily.
Right.
I think we can pull it off, especially within the games within our division. But, personally, I love having the first and second pick, or most likely second, third pick in the draft, just for the opportunity to use that as a tradable piece. Now, what you're saying though, and this is true, I don't want to hear the Trevor Truthers. I don't want to hear the Justin Fields people,
right?
Because that will be the narrative.
That's the narrative. Oh yeah, mainstream media is gonna ride that. Like I said,
yes. I don't want that, but at the end of the day, if we could use that and flip those for more draft picks, possibly another first round pick in the next draft, like people are going to be wanting to move up. And I mentioned this earlier in a tweet. I said, so if you're really in that 1-2 window, somebody's going to trade up for those top 2 guys. And they're going to trade the farm. From what people think about Trevor Lawrence, they're going to be willing to trade the farm. So they're going to be trying to jump ahead as high as they can go. So being in that position is bodes well for us because this Jerry's Jerry, man. So I can't say too much, but I really don't think it's wise or smart move to get rid of your already top 5 in the league quarterback, right? And then have to start over again with a rookie. You know what I mean? Why do that? You're basically rebuilding this team if you start off with get another quarterback. So I don't think that should not be the move at all, man. Anybody who thinks that is crazy to me. And a lot of people will say, well, save the cap space, save the cap, and use it. Nah, and I could argue the same thing. I could say, save the draft pick, use the draft picks for defensive players that we need, man. Instead of bringing in these outside guys, these outside contractors like we just talked about, and not knowing really what you're going to get. So it could go either way, man, but I'm not opposed. I'm not opposed.
Well, here's the question, because I was saying, I'm with you, bro. If we do get a top 2 pick, then you make someone sell the farm and you slide back to the 10 or whatever, and you just leverage that and get defense. If we get picks for next year's draft, use that to make your trade bait to bring in maybe a veteran, and you really build on on top of the team that we currently have in place. Like, so that was my thing about Mike McCarthy. Is like everyone was saying, no, Tuck, let Mike McCarthy rebuild and get his guys. Like, no, we brought Mike McCarthy in to build on what we already had established. Maybe add a few additional features to it, but not completely blow it up and start over. Hell no, man. So if we're able to get some of these defensive guys, add to the already roster that we have in place, then perfectly fine, man. But I'm just not a fan, of just drafting a quarterback. Hell no. Because let me ask the chat this, y'all. I'm going to ask y'all a question. Who is the last top 5 quarterback that was actually a number 1 pick? Does anybody know? Anybody? So anybody, like, you think about for the past, let's say, like 10 years, you think about a number 1 quarterback, a top 5 quarterback, which one of those guys were a number 1 pick? And the only guy that I can think of, he just retired. Like, he retired. Like, Andrew Luck. Like, that's the only guy. I mean, I guess you could probably toss in Cam Newton, but he's had his ups and downs. So it's like, you can never really guarantee, man, because I'm sure, like, the Cleveland Browns thought they got their number 1 quarterback in Baker Mayfield, and they're going to be set for years. You strike out, man. Like, you just don't. Well, Peyton Manning, I said the last, 10 years, man. Of course, Peyton Manning. But yeah, man, you just don't necessarily hit with the number 1 pick by taking a quarterback, man. They have to actually adjust and to the NFL level, man. And sometimes it just doesn't carry over, it doesn't work out, and then you really set your franchise back, man. So I'm just not a fan of it tanking, man. Like I said, go out, fight Cowboys, fam, and we'll see what happens, man. So let's hop in the chat, man. I appreciate you guys all. For the people who just joined in, Zach, go ahead and tell them where they can find you at first, man.
Hey, so you guys can find me. Either look me up on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Just look up the StarBoyz podcast. So I got my own podcast. I also got YouTube videos up now. So please like and subscribe to that as well. And that's the StarBoyz show, StarBoyz with a Z. So make sure you check that out.
Yeah, definitely check my guy out, man. And for you guys finding me for the first time, I want to say welcome. It's your boy Jay Tuck, man. Cowboys fans only. So go ahead, comment, like, subscribe, share somewhere down there, man. And cowboysfansonly.com. Also like the Facebook page, the Twitter page on Twitter at JTuck151. Like we said, we bring a lot of Dallas Cowboys content, man. I might bring some other NFL guys in this week, man, since this is a bye week. I might bring some guys around the NFL and just let them talk, man, because we really ain't got much to talk about. But let's see what's going on in the chat, man. It's rough. I don't think Cowboys fam, it's been rough this season to really talk about this, man, because it's just every time you want to get excited, man, like I said, something knocks us down. And y'all know, man, the wind out of my body just left when Dak Prescott got hurt, man. So I kind of just been numb since then, just trailing along, man. So let's see what the chat is talking about. Waleed Altif, I'm probably saying that wrong, but he said this is Dak's team now. Yep, it's always been Dak's team. Let's see, Jim Swartz, Zink stinks, man. Now excuses. Nah, I wouldn't say that because you guys would love to have him in Philly. Let's see what's going on. Shout out to my brother. He said, Cody, he says, roll with the hot hand. So I think he's saying stay with Gilbert, man. I would agree, man. But there's always been this thing in sports, like you can never lose your job due to injury. And like whoever made that rule, he probably got his job taken because of injury, man. Like I hate that stupid rule. Like, oh, but like, no, man, like just because Andy Dalton got hurt and you got another guy and he comes and starts playing better, man, it just happens, man. You got to roll with it. Mike Tag says, give Gilbert a shot. I agree. Let's see here. Madden update. See, he's talking about Madden, man. Sid's talking about Madden, but he doesn't want to talk about when we played Madden on Saturday. What really happened, man? Yeah, PS5 season. Are you a PS5 or Xbox guy, Zach?
I'm PS5, man.
PS5. See, hear that, Knicks, man? My guy, Knicks, man. We PS5 season over here. Thursday is Christmas, man. Yeah, I see.
Always been.
Yeah, I see everybody with those huge black boxes and all that. Do the Eagles have a higher chance of winning the NFC East than the Steelers have to win the AFC North? I don't agree with that because you might want to check out the Eagles' schedule, and that might change your mind. Eastside Herald. I see everyone's going on Eastside Herald, man. Eastside Herald is a Texans fan, y'all. So I always think he's an Eagles fan because we got a lot of Eagles fans in chat. He's a Texans fan, man. It's like, but you're in Houston, right?
I'm in Houston.
So what is it like being? What is it like being a Cowboys fan stuck in Houston, man?
It's awful, man. It's truly awful. We talked a little earlier. It's a true rivalry, man, and a lot of people don't realize that. But it's an interstate rivalry. We're just right across way, Interstate 45, and for a little 4 or 5 hour drive. And there is so much hate, man. Living in Houston as a Cowboys fan is the worst.
Right.
And I know other teams. I know other players of fans of teams got bad in other places, but. This is got to be top 5. This has got to be a top 5 situation, man. I mean, you can't go anywhere without hearing cowgirls or that lame same stuff over and over and over again, man. I mean, I've had, I have a star on the back of my truck, and people honk me down, Texas, honk me down, give me the bird. I mean, it's crazy. These guys, they can't stand Cowboys fan, and whatever.
His little brother syndrome, probably, man.
It is. Yeah, it is. Little brother syndrome, man. Right now, they got the same record as us.
Right.
And I swear, if I don't hear more people saying, "Oh, well, we play better teams," or just but you got your starting quarterback,
right? Yeah. So, can you imagine, Dak Prescott only having 2 wins right now in week 9, week 8? So
it's crazy. And all love to Deshaun Watson, man. Hell of a player.
Hell of a player, man.
I can't stand the Texans fans. Yeah. No offense to any Texans fans.
Eastside Herald, man, deserves it, man. He's probably one of the bad ones, man. Sid said someone should mute Eastside Herald, man. I ain't gonna mute him yet, man. Let him cook, man. Let him cook, man. Let's see here. We don't want that overpriced Zeke contract. Yeah, you probably would, man. You probably take that Zeke contract to the Eagles, man. Because the Eagles, you guys got a lot of overpriced contracts that you guys have to deal with, man. So what is another one gonna hurt, man? But I feel like Ezekiel Elliott will be a Dallas Cowboy, man. I feel like he's going to figure things out, man. But like you said, Zach, if we come back next year and he's fumbling, rumbling, stumbling, I think Jerry's going to be
We
like,
got
all right,
problems.
man, it's time to make a move, man. So he might bring in another running back, let Pollard give it a go. But do you think that Tony Pollard could be the lead back in the system? Like we could give Tony Pollard 25 carries and it really make that difference? Or is he kind of just one of those change of pace guys?
I don't, man. I really don't. I think he is just one of those kind of change of pace backs. I just don't think that he can consistently carry the full workload with the sample size that I've seen from him. And granted, I would like to see him get some more touches, honestly.
Right,
I've kind of been always been a little bit more of an advocate of that because, like you're saying, Thunder Lightning, why not? Why
right,
not, right? But um, what I've been seeing from the sample size is, yeah, there's it's some highlights and it's some good stuff, and then it's right back to well, getting hit behind the line or rushing for a yard or
right,
two. So and a lot of people will argue, well, why not at least give him the opportunity? Because Zeke is just, he's not even breaking off big runs. But
right,
as we discussed earlier, that's not his game. That's
right,
not his game. It's never been his game. And I want to see more from him, man. And honestly, I thought this season he was going to go in because there was a lot of doubters
right,
over the offseason.
right,
And he kind of addressed it,
right.
He said basically, recognize who I am. And I thought he was going to come out and show it. And it's like you're saying, it seems like he's just running a little bit scared, man. And I don't know that I trust Pollard in the situation for an every down back. He doesn't
Right.
have all the skill sets that Zeke has, especially as far as blocking is concerned and all that. So, no, not for me, man. Not for me.
Yeah, yeah. I like I said, guys. I think Pollard is really just a change of pace guy. That's what he was at Memphis too, man. Because he had 3 great running backs when he played at Memphis. He's like he brings a different dynamic, and that's what we brought him in for, man. But I feel like with Ezekiel Elliott, man, I felt like he came into the season prepared. I feel like we saw in that Rams game. I think that was the belly game when he showed his belly. So he had a
Yeah.
burst, but I feel like what happened after that is that's when all the turnovers started happening in the first quarter versus the Falcons, and so it really took Zeke out of the game for the second, third, and the fourth game where he really couldn't even do anything. And I feel like now, like you said, he's trying to overcompensate, really play hero ball, man, and it's just like you just can't. So I feel like Zeke just needs to settle down, get back into his game.
And I mean, it also doesn't help, and it's something that I've been seeing on the stat line, just kind of week in and week out. And it's mainly due, obviously, because we've been behind in games, but we're throwing the ball 40 to 50 times a
Right,
game, man.
right, and that's when we
So I
had Dak.
mean, you gotta kind of, and this is it's kind of a true thing. Sometimes you got to give these guys time to kind of get in a rhythm.
Right,
And and this is kind of goes back to this past game against the Steelers that I just don't understand I don't understand what Mike's trying to prove, man. I mean, especially with the guys coming in there, it's his first start in the NFL. Feed Zeke, man. Let him get into a groove, especially when they start kind of getting together on all cylinders, man.
right,
Just let him continue feeding. I don't know what it is. I'm very curious to kind of know about. I don't know if it's something to do with their relationship. I don't want to make any speculation.
right.
I don't understand why he's choosing to run, or should I say, Kellen Moore is choosing to run the offense that
That's what I was
way
going to
with
ask you. So, do you think it's
air
Kellen
raid.
Moore or do you think it's Mike McCarthy?
Yeah, that's the chicken or the egg, right?
Right,
So I mean, personally, I know that supposedly I say Kellen Moore, but Mike McCarthy's got to be involved. He's involved in
right.
that game
He is. He has
to a
to be.
certain extent. I mean, we're talking at least he's definitely involved within the first, what do you like, maybe 30, 40 plays at least,
Right,
somewhere around there, roughly. He's got to be involved and he's got to have some say so in there. I don't think he's just handing over full reins, Kellen. You do whatever the heck you want to do
right now,
with
yeah,
this offense. It's all yours. No, I don't see it that way. So maybe it's both of them, man, or maybe it's Kellen and he's making in game decisions like, hey, this is what we're going to roll with, and this is what's working for us right now. But I, again, I just want to see more of it, man. I mean, this is a time, if there's any time, this is where you rely on your running back. Let him eat. I know it's hard behind this offensive line. I mean, we're so beat up, man. I mean, even Connor Williams is kind of,
ugh.
we never
Connor
expected this
Williams,
man
bro.
to, yeah, we never expected this man to be an all pro. Let's be honest.
Right,
This is kind of a fill in the gap guy, if you will. And granted, he was going against Hayward. Hayward's that's a beast, man.
he's a beast.
I'm not gonna,
Right,
I'm not gonna down him too much for that, but it's not just this game. If you watch some of the play, I mean, God, I'm not gonna say he's Terrence Steele.
Right.
I'm not gonna say he's Terrence Steele, but he's not. He's leaning in the wrong direction, man. He's going down the rabbit hole, and I'm curious, man. They must not see, and I've mentioned this several times. They must not see a lot in Connor McGovern.
Right.
And I expected that. I think we all did at the beginning of the season. We were like, hey, there's gonna be a battle between Connor McGovern and the other Connor, the Connor Williams. So, and that just never took fold. I haven't seen Connor even hardly come in from, guys hurt like Zach Martin or whatever else, It's
Yeah,
just been
I think he had the one start. I forgot who the start was against. Was it Washington? Was that Washington game? Yeah, that was a Washington game where Zach Martin was out. McGovern got a start. He played decent. Then we haven't seen him again. So I feel like with Mike McCarthy, it's just something with this O-line. It just doesn't. It's just not working to me, man. Like he said, he's like, oh, you can't just play fantasy football and just. You absolutely can, man. You can make some adjustments on this O-line because I feel like Terrence Steele, that's been a huge weak spot since day one, since he started the very first game, man. He's just been a huge weak spot. But for some reason, we don't want to address it. And the one game we actually saved ourselves from Terrence Steele was because he had food poisoning against Seattle. And then our offensive line, it was like, I don't know, man. Like maybe someone at the Cowboys facility need to poison this guy's food to get him out the lineup. I don't know what the hell needs to be done, man. But Terrence Steele is constantly a liability out there, man. But it seems like Mike McCarthy is stuck with them, man. I want to give a huge shout out before we continue to go, man, to my guy Mo, man. Mo Zavala, man. So he was the guy, he jumped in on the show when I had Mike Tag on. And we did the giveaway when we were trying to reach 300 subscribers. We are 5 subscribers away from hitting 400. So if we hit 400, we'll do another giveaway on the next show, man. But he won the Feed Zeke shirt. It's like this was a t-shirt, man. I asked this hard. I had this crazy like Cowboys trivia question. Like, all right, you're gonna have to be a real fan to really know this, man. And like Mo was like, boom. I was like, damn, man, how do you? So I was like, all right, I was like, I asked at the beginning of the show. I expect people like to Google it and search it. Mo was like, boom, he had the answer, man. I was like, all right, well. Diehard Cowboys fans. Yeah, here's your shirt, man. Go ahead and take it, man, because you got it, man. So the next one I might make it a little bit more. I might make it like 3 questions but we need 5 subscribers to get to 500, man, or 400. But let's get to 500. Try to get to 400, man, and then we'll do a giveaway on the next show, man. So let me ask you this, man. About the O-line. Do you feel like there's any adjustments that can really be made, or this just is what it is? I mean, because I gotta admit, and Knicks, if you're still watching, man, we were kind of going back this all summer about Cam Irving. I would say my guy Cam Irving from Florida State has played decent thus far at left tackle. Knock on wood, they can always change in a blink of an eye, but I feel like Cam Irving has played solid. Connor Williams, and we had Tyler Biotish. He's played great coming in as a rookie. Joe Looney came in, last week and kind of played for him. Zach Martin. But this right tackle position. So would there be any adjustments that you would make right now? Or you just kind of just roll with it?
Absolutely. Hell yes.
Yeah.
We get rid of Terrence Steele, man. I can't. That's the biggest problem that's bothering me all season long about this coaching staff is you just continuously trot this man out on the field knowing he's a problem, knowing he's going to get your quarterback crushed.
Right.
Like, just it's time to move on. It's time to find something new, and whether that's a free agent of some sort, you think you could come in and actually contribute. I don't see him having a hard time beating out Terrence Steele, if I'm being honest.
Right.
Okay, so
right.
Bring in somebody, and or you go back with what we had before, man. Joe Looney is back, so you put Joe Looney right there at that right guard spot and move Zach back out to that right tackle spot.
Right.
But I did actually hear also that Biotish is out. From my understanding, again, is that correct?
Yeah, he's going to be out.
I saw that. Yeah. So I'm assuming Joe Looney comes in and fills his spot. So
yeah,
I don't know what else you can do other than outside of maybe going to get a free agent or maybe trying to shuffle a little bit with McGovern. So
yeah,
but it needs to be addressed, man. It's to the point is ridiculous. It almost feels like just to keep seeing that constantly coming out on the field. I'm like, are y'all giving up on this season?
Right. And that's when you start to question. It's like, do you not see it? And that's what concerned me as a Cowboys fan, why I was so hard on Mike McCarthy. Is like, do you not see Don Terry Poe getting shoved around like a rag doll out here? Like, do I have a different film study than you guys have? I'll share it with you guys. But it's like, I feel like we were all seeing this. Everyone else was seeing Daryl Worley gets burnt, but it's like they just rush him out in the field. Like, eventually, if you're a head coach, you have to say, man, this ain't working. We got to get this guy out of here. He's going to get me fired. Like, you're going to cause me to lose my job. Or you're going to cause someone to get hurt with Terrence Steele. It's like, how many times can you continue to run this guy out there and being so negligent when it comes to this roster? But I don't know, man. And I feel like
Crazy.
When we look at this Dallas Cowboys team, CeeDee Lamb, of course. We talked about Diggs. Tyler Biadasz was able to come in and play great. We saw what Neville Gallimore was able to do. So there's 2 rookies that are remaining that we haven't utilized. And I've been beating on the table for this guy, Bradley Anae, and also Reggie Robinson. So what is it going to take to really see these guys get their opportunity? Because I feel like once you add these rookies to the fire, let them cut their teeth. So for next year, they'll have the experience. They're not really starting from scratch. So I would like to see more Bradley Anae. Just get out there. Maybe it's 3rd and long. Toss Bradley Anae, because the one play I saw Bradley Anae come out and play, I think it was against the Giants. He came in, he was like seconds away from getting a sack. His very first NFL play. Get out the game. So it's just like,
it's crazy.
And it's just something with this team where with Mike McCarthy, it's just like, I need to see more utilization. At least put Bradley Anae on special teams or something. Like, you don't just sit a talent like that. Right. I mean, this guy was one of the all-time leaders in college, sack leaders in college football. You don't just have him sitting over there just holding, Yeah, but that's my first.
No, I understand. I mean, as far as, I think a lot of it has to do with them trying to evaluate Randy Gregory right now, and he looks really good, man. I'm impressed with his game. I'm glad he's back. Continues to get close and make plays. I mean, he's all over the place. I love his game, especially this past game. He did a damn good job. But yeah, like you're saying, throw him out there. If we're 2-7 now,
right?
I mean, we're going into a bye week. Let's start kind of getting him some first team reps and see what he's got.
Right.
I mean, it's at the point to where, like you're saying, him, Reggie Robinson. I want to see some of these young guys. This is what the rest of the season is basically about. Let's see what they got. Let's see what we can do so we can know what we have to build off of, know what we need to work on as far as the draft coming up or free agency, know our strengths. You know what I mean? Like, why not give ththese young players a chance to really develop? Because that's something that I've loved at the beginning since they've had Diggs in is as a rookie, he's just week in, week out, he's continued to develop and get better and better and better.
Right.
And some of these guys need game time action. You can practice all day long, but really when those lights come on the field, man, that's when the gladiators show up.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah, especially in a season where there was no preseason, man. Like, some of these guys just need to get some football action. Like, that's what happened with Ben DiNucci versus Philly. He was like, man, this game was a lot faster than when I was used to in college. Like, everyone has done that, man. Whether you played, high school sports and moved up to varsity finally or college, like, it's just faster, man. So I'm sure as an NFL level, it's just moving at a rapid pace, man. So hopefully Mike McCarthy gives some of these guys the opportunity they need to really come in and make a difference so we can really evaluate and see what you have in place, especially going into the next season, man. But like I said, I feel like the Dallas Cowboys are fully capable, fam, of winning a lot more games than I expected, 3 weeks ago. So I expect us to be around 5 to 6 wins. So I think they've raised the bar. Now, if we come out and play against the Vikings and we lose 40-3 again, I'm going to be pissed off, man. You guys sold me. You guys sold me a bad bag, man. But it's like, I want to come out and compete. I feel like Mike McCarthy, like I said, he coached a good game on Sunday. I feel like he did it from the special teams. Mike Nolan, you did a good job defensively. All 3 phases, which really takes. Protect the ball. Play good on all 3 phases, man, and you can compete with a lot of NFL teams because we have the talent. Even though we mentioned all the injuries that we have, the talent still remains, right? So it's just like, we just got to limit these stupid mistakes, get back to fundamental football, which I think we did on Sunday. So like I said, the expectations for me is to win a lot more of these football games, man, versus getting 40 ball, man. So I definitely want to
just like wonder too, like why wasn't this team here when Dak was here, man? That's the part that hurts the most.
And here's the thing, I think they took it for granted because, like I said, I saw the Chiefs do the same thing last year when Pat Mahomes was like, oh yeah, we got Pat Mahomes, man, we can put up 40 easily. Like, who cares? So like the defense was playing bad until Pat Mahomes went down. They had to come in with Matt Moore. Then the defense stood up. And they're like, okay, we can't give up 40 points a game. So I feel like it was a pride thing, and I feel like they kind of knew the situation. But I feel like coming in from next season's standpoint, if we're able to keep Dak, which we should, if this defense can get some type of confidence and roll this into next season, you give me my quarterback back where we can score 40 in a blink of an eye with this weaponry that we have. Now we're talking about a serious contender. But I feel like the Dallas Cowboys defensively, they need to find an identity under Mike Nolan and just keep this up, man. And I feel like the one thing that really changed things a lot was getting Sean Lee back. And a lot of people are like, Sean Lee's like Jay. No, Sean Lee is a defensive coach out there. And you can see it because people understand, even though Sean Lee was hurt, he wasn't able to stay on the sideline. So you see him pretty much coaching. Jalen Smith, I'll ask you what's your thoughts, man. Do we move on from this guy? Because he's really like a chicken with his head cut off and he's swiping and twisting and turning and, doing all sorts of stuff, man. He's like ADHD out there on the field, man. I personally like Jalen as a player and a person, but he's killing us, man. He really is. So what's your thoughts on Jalen Smith before we go?
He is, man. I hate this. I hate even talking about this, man, because I stood on the table at the beginning of the season because there was so many people that were attacking this man, and I wasn't quite seeing it the same. I was like, hey, you know what? This dude, he's still, went to a Pro Bowl last year, but albeit whatever, they count stats in the tackle game, and he's I think like second in tackles across the league right now.
Right.
And it looks good on paper, but when you watch this man's game, it's so frustrating, man, because again, I had his back, and then to see him go out and continuously prove me wrong week in, week out, there's so many issues with his game. He's not finding the correct holes. He's not finding his gaps. He can't get off of blocks.
Right.
He's has trouble transitioning with his hips, man. He looks like he's a little slow in that regard. And I don't know if it's that he just put on some more muscle or some weight to maybe be able to shed off those blocks, and it's kind of slowed him down a little bit.
Right.
But I think he's always had this straight line speed, and I've always wanted to use him as more of a situational pass rusher type player, so I can see that swiping a little bit more.
Right.
But it's just that maybe they don't know how to use him. But his lateral speed it's atrocious, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and you get this big guy on some of these shifty backs or slot receivers, and it's a matchup nightmare, and they're going to hit it every time.
Every time. They aim for it. They aim right for it, man. And so, yeah.
I'm willing. I mean, you got him paid right now. I'm willing to give him another season to see if he kind of maybe gets it under control. 2018 Jalen Smith was a whole different Jalen Smith.
Right.
I'm hoping he comes back to form and maybe can get back to that. And if not, by next year, if we don't start seeing improvement, same with Zeke. I mean, we have to consider possibly getting out from under that contract and hopefully proving me wrong and the rest of some of Cowboys Nation wrong, because I want it to be a good contract, not a bad.
Right. Yeah, like I said, man, I think Jalen Smith it's just a mental thing with him, man. There's one clip I saw on Twitter, man. Like Sean Lee was trying to tell him to line up. He was just all over the place, and I think he lined up like at safety or something, and just like we're like, all right, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you have been in the NFL long enough for pretty much 5 years now. You should be fully coherent on what's going on back there, man. But he's just emotional. He's playing with too much emotion. He's just digging the wrong hole, and he's playing hero ball. It's just like, Jalen, bro, I'm trying to ride with you. Like, I've been riding for Xavier Woods, man. I already had to jump off that train. I can't jump off any more trains, man. Y'all gonna start killing me on this show, man. So, like, I hope that, yeah, man. I was on the Woods train. I had to jump off of that, man. I thought Jalen Smith was gonna take a huge leap, and he probably needs to take a leap off a cliff, man, because right now he's just not cutting it. So, Zach, bro, I'm gonna keep.
Real quick. I just wanted to bring this up real quick.
Go ahead.
So, what do you think about Big Ben saying, because he saw some
the
terrible
world
towels? Yeah, and I'm like, first off, in my opinion, I'm like, okay, this is a world's team. That's what he said, the world's team. I'm like, man, there's more people in attendance, at a freaking high school play on opening night, man.
Right.
Like, you saw a few freaking terrible towels in the stands.
Right.
Like, come on, man, claiming yourself as the world's team. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, man. And here's the thing, Cowboys fan. We go through this bull crap every few years, man. Because I remember back when the Broncos had Peyton Manning. It was like, oh, are the Eagles now America's team? No, or not the Eagles, but the Broncos. I'm like, no, you're not, man. I think NFL fans and also NFL teams outside of Cowboys fans, and y'all always get on me for this, though. I don't think y'all understand how local your team really is. Like, it's really just it's different when it comes to Cowboys fans. Like, we are one of the most recognizable brands amongst all business brands, not just football, not just sports, but all business brands. It's Apple, Coca-Cola. Like, we are recognized. And like I always tell the story, I was across country in Thailand. I had on my Dez shirt and hat. I had little Thai people throwing up the X. They were throwing up the X. Met a Cowboys fans all the way in Thailand. We had a blast. Like, that's how mega this Cowboys team is. No matter where I go, no matter what NFL stadium I go to, whether I go to Arrowhead, whether I go to, which was St. Louis, I know that I'll never be the only Cowboys fan. Ever. Ever. And so, like, when we say this, world team, only reason, Big Ben, you saw all those terrible towels because Cowboys fans gave up in the season and they sold you guys for triple the price to all those Pittsburgh fans. We made a pretty profit. If you were at the Cowboys games and your Steelers fans were at that game, you guys got finessed into those tickets. I tell you what, because you probably played triple or double.
Oh, Jerry threw it down on them. Man.
Yeah. So if I had season tickets, I'm like, I'm not gonna watch, go to the Steelers game and pay that price. But I can find some Steelers fans who are suckers that's gonna pay me double. And I'll make my yeah. So of course, Big Ben knows the deal, man. He knows it's completely different, man. Like I said, a lot of people just want that America's team title or world team title, but I don't think you really understand what comes along with that, man. Like, it is what it is, man. So yeah,
they couldn't handle the hate.
Yeah, you could.
That's another reason we're so dang big.
Right.
All the hatred,
it comes
but you
from
still watching the game.
You still watch, no matter how bad you hate. No matter how bad the Eagles and the Cowboys were, that was one of the top Sunday night football games of the NFL season. And we heard all the jokes, moving to Cartoon Network and all this. No, and I think the Ravens and the Steelers played that Sunday.
Yeah.
And we were the most the 2-win Cowboys versus the 2-win Eagles was the biggest view game in Sunday night football for this season. So if that doesn't tell you all I want to know, Ben, I don't know what else I can tell you, bro. So, Zach, man, I appreciate you coming on, man. We'll definitely do it again. Like I said, guys, definitely go hit up his podcast, the StarBoyz podcast, StarBoyz show on YouTube right now, right?
Yes, sir.
Definitely check my guy out, man. Follow him on Twitter, man. We go back and forth. Now, we had a bet. What did I bet my paycheck on, man? Because I don't want you to come back into the season and be like, what was that bet, man? Let me write that down, man.
Hey, so my bet to you was that Dak comes back and is the starter for the Cowboys next season. And you took it. You said you was gonna go ahead and cash my check, man. You said
that was pre-injury though. That was pre-injury though, man. That's off the board, man. Injuries don't count. Man. Injuries don't count, man. It's off the board, man. I need my paycheck, man. Because it's PS5 season, man. Taking all my money. And for all the people who I've been telling, bet against the Cowboys every game to get that easy money, I apologize for what happened on Sunday because a lot of people got hit up. So hey, yeah, my bad, man. Like I said, bro, I appreciate you coming on. Guys, go ahead, comment, like, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all the support, man. We got some more shows coming up this week, man. I appreciate all the support. Support some of the Eagles guys in the chat too, man. They have great content, man. It takes a lot to do what we're doing right now. And like I said, no matter what's going on right now with football, I want everyone to stay safe, stay blessed, and stay encouraged, man. And hopefully, the Dallas Cowboys can get this thing rolling, man. So I appreciate you all tuning in. It's your boy J Tuck signing off.